Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining us for this, the first monthly professional update from Tobii Dynavox for 2026. My name's John Little and I'm a Senior Account Manager for Tobii Dynavox in the UK, and I'm also joined by my colleague Jonah Ryan Singh as well, who's going to monitor the chat for us and any questions that might come in. This update is going to be catching up on things that have come out in perhaps the last 3 months from Tobii Dynavox, and there's quite a lot of exciting things. We're going to introduce you to the newly launched Resource Centre, which is a fantastic repository for all things great and free from Tobii Dynavox, including communication books, communication guides, assessment tools, etc. We're going to go through some smaller updates covering mounting peripherals and accessories. Then we'll have some larger sections on what's new with TD Snap and what's new with voices. A small section on a new addition to Communicator 5, and a small section on what's new with TD Talk, TD Phone, and TD Browse. And then we're going to finish up with a couple of topics on the TD Pilot, looking at the new calibration routines and also celebrating the fact that Sensory IFX2, the eye gaze skill software, is now available on the TD Pilot. Okay, so we'll start with Meet the Resource Centre. So this is a fantastic place to find great free resources from Tobii Dynavox and easily accessible, easily searchable. So that's things like communication boards, books, posters, assessment tools, condition-based communication guides, curriculum content, and board maker resources. The link is here, so I'll click on it so you'll see what that looks like. Go off to the Resource Centre. And you'll see that if you scroll down, you've got some featured resources in there, like accessible gaming, MND resources. So we could click on one of those, for example, and see some great MND resources. Or we could go up to the top here and research resources by a particular topic. So if we were looking for resources related to autism or related to a particular product, then you'll see that what's available changes down below. So we could open up maybe this autism myth poster, for example, autism myths and truths. So back to the presentation. I'll just whiz through this because this is showing the same thing in case I didn't get online. So let's have a talk about some of the things that are in here. So the content. So as I mentioned, you've got access to communication boards and books that are available to print. You've got posters that could be communication core boards, etc., on poster form, or like you saw the myths and truths posters. We've got assessment tools and guides that includes the DAG3. We've got communication guides, so like communication guides specific to maybe disability types, like the communication with MND or communication with autism, you can see down there. We've got access to the full core first learning curriculum and also board maker resources there, the activities to go resources and the board maker ideas book. So we're just going to highlight a couple of those. So one of the things that's up there is free core first printable communication books. These are available in two sizes, the 6x6 and the 7x9. They are ready to print and they're tabbed communication books. So you'll see they're in what's called the print saver form. So rather than the buttons being coloured, you'll just get coloured borders around the different buttons to indicate the vocabulary type. So we've got the 7x9 as well there. These have been out for some time. You can, of course, have editable versions of these if you do have a subscription for Board Maker, so you can personalize the low-tech ones, but these are ready to print for you. You also have access to the full Core First Learning curriculum. So the Core First Learning curriculum is fantastic lesson plans, beautifully illustrated books, and all sorts of games, activities, writing tasks, spelling tasks, etc., to help users understand, learn and find and use the core words that are so fundamental to their communication. So they're available in three sets. I think there's 12 words in each set, or you can download the full set. These are all available on the Resource Centre. But just to flick open one of these, you see it's a fairly hefty document. So I'll just whiz through the initial stuff, which is all about what you're doing here. You'll see it's got the educational standards that it adheres to. And then you've got access to the lesson plan. So you've got 5 days of activity for each of the words that you're concentrating on, and it will tell you about reading tasks, rereading, colouring, sorting, all of that kind of stuff. So if we scroll a bit further, you'll see the lovely books that you get with it. So this is on the core word of go, and you've got go, 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 and cars go, and trains go, etc. And for each book, each word, you tend to get about 3 or 4 different books. So this is about ocean creatures by the looks of it, all using the word go. And then if we just carry on past the books, we'll see that you've got the activities. So you've got bingo-based activities, you'll have colouring, spelling, all of that kind of stuff, word searches, lots and lots of activities there. So that's the core first learning curriculum, all available within the Resource Centre. A new thing that's come, and I only discovered it the other day, even though it had been out since October, is like we had the core first printable communication books, we also have the printable communication books to go alongside the Motorplan vocabulary system. So it's a nice complement in those instances where somebody is maybe just getting introduced to communication, or maybe they need a low-tech backup for instances when using their high-tech solution or power-based AAC isn't appropriate. So there are 3 sizes here. We've got the Motorplan 30, and again, you'll see when I open that up, it's a tabbed communication book. Pages and pages and pages there. I'm not sure how many pages there's. 69 pages of ready-made vocabulary for you to print out. And then just go back. I've got too many windows open now. There we go. I can't seem to get back. There we go. So that was the Motorplan 30. We've also got Motorplan 40, and I will just show you, we've got Motorplan 66, but I'll show you the Inksaver version as well. So you'll see it's the same thing, but instead of having the coloured buttons, you're just going to have the coloured borders around the button, which denote the vocabulary type, such as people and pronouns, question words, and green for verbs, for example. But it's just going to save you a bit of coloured ink when you're printing. If I close that, I'll get back. There we go. That was easier. Okay, so that's the Resource Centre, and do go and explore some of the great resources that are there. Now we're going to talk about some of the smaller pieces of news in terms of changes to mounting peripherals and accessories. So the first thing, we're really pleased to be able to tell you that the TD Navio coloured cases are back in stock. So this is available across the Mini, MIDI, and Maxi. We did tell you about these at launch, but then because of the huge demand for the Navio and the cases, we weren't able to prioritise the coloured cases initially. So we're really pleased that now you can choose to have a pink case, a purple case, or a blue case, as well as the grey case that comes as standard with the Navio. If you do need to know the product codes for these for ordering, I'm going to send out a copy of the slides afterwards, but you can see the different product codes, and they're all £55. There are also the product codes available for the version of the coloured cases with the keyguard attachment, and that's the product codes. Again, £55. You don't need to furiously write those product codes down because I'm going to send the slides out. So we're going to talk a little bit about mounting. As you may know, Tobii Dynavox and Adapt and Acapela for that are all part of the Dynavox group. So Adapt is the mounting company, is a sister company to Tobii Dynavox. And Adapt and Tobii Dynavox work very closely in the UK together. You can purchase the whole range of Adapt mounting solutions directly from Tobii Dynavox, and we've got things such as the procurement documentation that's often needed for buying products such as the PAQs for all the common mounts. So do ask us for a quote. If you're using Adapt mounts, and in particular if you're using Adapt switch mounts, just got a piece of news for you here. So the ray adapt magnitude switch mounts range with the M8 attachment have all been discontinued, but not to worry, they have been replaced with the L3D range, which are fundamentally the same mounts but with different connections for the mounting plates. That's the spigot link system. So that's the new products that you'd be using going forward now. In terms of mounting the Microsoft Surface tablet that we often use with the PCI eye tracker, we're pleased to be able to tell you we now have two mounting bracket options you can choose to. This bracket is something that you might be familiar with. That was the standard bracket for many years, but when from Surface Pro 9 onwards, they changed the slightly curved edges on the surface, and this didn't grip it as well as we'd like for maybe a mounted solution. It's fairly secure, perfectly suitable for a desktop, a tabletop system, but for mounting, we'd rather you choose this option, which is the PCI bracket mounted. So that's part number 1001346. And you'll have the same experience in terms of these, apart from the fact that the PCI bracket mounted option doesn't have a kickstand like the tabletop version. If you do want the kickstand, that is available as an extras for another £109, and here's a little image of how that looks on the back of the device. Another slight change is that the mounting plate for the TDI 110, the reversible mounting plate, has been discontinued. We did find that in practice it wasn't working as reliably as we'd hoped in terms of getting the mount, and I think the problem was is with that reversible plate, the kickstand was getting in the way. So we've switched from the mounting plate pictured here, which was reversible, to two separate mounting plates, one for Daisy and one for Ray Adapt. Again, I'll send the slides if you need those part numbers and prices. A piece of news, I know a lot of the specialized services were really pleased to hear or been waiting for us to tell them about, and that's the fact that the PCI eye tracker is now compatible with ARM processors. So we're pleased to say it's compatible with ARM and Intel processors. For those of you maybe not so familiar with ARM processors are an alternative processor that tends to offer less power consumption and heat, and so they're often found in smaller devices. One of the things that we'd come across is that Microsoft were increasingly using ARM in their Surface Pro range, which are tablets that we use a great deal. And unfortunately, they were the cheaper options. And to get an Intel-based processor in your tablet, you were having to spend another £300 or £400. So we're really pleased to be able to say that now the PCI supports both ARM and Intel, so you can go for the cheaper option there. There's no hardware change needed. There's just a change to firmware and software that will be done through your update notifier software on your device. When this news first came out, all Tobii Dynavox software, apart from TD Snap, was compatible. But a couple of weeks ago, we did the necessary changes to make TD Snap compatible with the PCI and the ARM processor. If you are choosing the package from us, which is the PCI bracket and Surface bundle, we will continue to supply that with the Intel models. Okay, so that's the smaller pieces of news. We're now going to go on to a slightly larger section, and that's what's new with TD Snap, mainly concentrating on what came with release 1.38, but there are some other additions that have been done either through PageSet Central or in earlier smaller releases. So the first one is on PageSet Central. You're now able to download up-to-date calendars. So I think you had 24 and 25 calendars in the Aphasia PageSet. Now you go to PageSet Central and you've got ready-made calendars available in different languages, English, German, Italian, and Dutch, just to update your Aphasia PageSet. We've also launched some new page sets. We've got TD Snap Motor Plan and TD Snap Express have been released in German with the Metacom symbol. So that's a particular symbol set that's very popular in Germany. And then we've released new versions of TD Snap Express, so Canadian French and bilingual Spanish and English. So this goes with the ever increasing list of languages for TD Snap Express. We do also release some of our languages for TD Snap Express in PageSet Central for you to download rather than being in the whole of the package. So not everybody would need to have access to those or download them each time. So only the people who need those languages go to PageSet Central. So we've just released Express in Flemish and Lithuanian, and you get those from PageSet Central. We've also released the aphasia page set in Spanish, and I think this is probably the biggest piece of news for the UK market or the English speaking market. We've released the core first page set in a high contrast version. So you can see there the high contrast version with the high contrast symbols, and that's specifically designed to support our communicators with visual impairments. When you're looking for this, when you go to create page set, you will find it under US English rather than UK English. However, in real terms, it's a perfectly suitable page set for UK English. You might just want to change spellings of like the word colour or something like that. Just a couple of screens to show you what that looks like. It's available in different sizes, all the sizes you might want to use. There's also been some changes to symbol searches, and I have to say this was a very welcome change. As having gone through creating page sets from scratch for people, it did annoy me sometimes that I would choose a symbol for a particular word and then I'd use that word in another page within the vocabulary system, and I would end up having to search for it again. What happens now is that if you've used a symbol to represent a particular word, next time you create a button with that word, it will offer you the exact same symbol as the number one choice. So I've got a little video to show that in action. So let's say I'm changing the symbol for the word I to something that's more reflective for the particular user. And this user maybe is this person here. And I click done, that's changed in that instance. But let's say I'm creating in another page the word I. What we should hopefully see, oh, it's a video, so I know what's going to happen. We'll see that the first symbol that's offered is the symbol that I chose previously. That video does go on a little bit as well, and it shows you how, let's just say in that screenshot, somebody's chosen a photo of an apple as opposed to the PCS symbol of an apple. If you've done that, then what will happen is that will also get offered first. The next update that's come is that when you're using the vocabulary filter in the Motorplan page sets, previously, you wouldn't necessarily know which from your list management tool, which vocabulary list you were currently using. So in Motorplan, you can use the vocabulary filter and say, oh, this is my Lego playlist, and you have words that are to do with playing with Lego, but you'd also have a reading a book activity or a going shopping activity, and you would just have a limited subset of the vocabulary for those particular activities. The problem was is that when you were in that subset, you didn't necessarily know as the communication partner which vocabulary part you were in. You'll see up at the top there in this bit that I'm squaring off here is now it will tell you that I'm in reading a book activity just at the top there. So whatever page I'm in within reading a book, you'll see that that's written there. Again, if I'm in a different page set, sorry, not a different page, a different list, so preparing a meal, you'll see that's all denoted at the top. Another new feature, it might be something you never have to use, but for those people who need to use it, it's very important. And that's the ability to turn off audio mixing or mixing feedback with sound. So this is for people who are using, maybe visually impaired people who are using maybe auditory touch or auditory fishing, or maybe auditory switch scanning to find the words that they want. And therefore, the words that are maybe your fingers over, or the words that are in the switch scan pattern are being spoken out out in one voice, but when you choose the one that you want by maybe lifting your finger or pressing your switch, it's then spoken in your preferred voice output. The problem was before is that you could end up with the two voices speaking over each other if you made your selection while the feedback voice was still speaking. So I'll just show you that in operation.
So let's have a look at this in action.
Pick it up. Take a break. Hungry.
I'm hungry.
Here I have auditory touch set as my access method. Now I can move my finger across the screen and whatever's under my finger will be spoken out in the child's voice. However, when I lift my finger from the screen, whatever button my finger is on top of is taken as my intended message and it will speak out in my preferred voice output voice.
Don't feel well. Take a break. Lie down. Reposition.
Reposition me, please.
The voice mixing option is designed to overcome this problem where two voices will be heard at the same time.
Hold. Don't feel well. Take a break. Don't feel well.
I don't feel very
hold
well.
There. 1 minute.
I need a minute.
Now if we go to the settings, then to user, then to access method, we'll see the settings for auditory touch, including the current audio feedback voice. Here we can turn off mixed feedback with speech and we'll find that the voices no longer clash with each other.
Don't feel well.
I don't feel very well.
Okay, so hopefully you can see what's there. Okay, the next one to show you is that there's a new feature within TD Snap on an iPad that you're able to run iOS shortcuts directly from within the software. So shortcuts are really, really powerful in iOS, allow you to do lots and lots of different things, maybe launching an app, maybe creating notes, playing a particular song, sending an iMessage to somebody, even initiating a call. So you create the shortcuts in the iOS environment and you launch them directly from TD Snap. And there's also an option that you can auto return to TD Snap after completion. So like I say, shortcuts are incredibly powerful and are only limited really by your imagination and skills with the shortcuts. I've got a little video of these in operation. This one's a bit long and it shows the creation of shortcuts. So I'm using the Shortcuts app and I'm going to create a shortcut that will actually create a note based on the contents of my TD Snap message window. So I'm choosing the action to create a note and choosing clipboard as the source there. The next thing I'm going to do is just put a little wait command so you can actually see the results of this shortcut because it could just close immediately. But I'm going to set it for 10 seconds. And the next command is just to open an app and that will return us back to TD Snap. So I'm going to search for TD Snap. Name. And now I go to TD Snap. I'm going to create a new button. Give it a label, create note. I'm going to delete the action to speak because I don't need this to speak, but add an action and it's under the copy message window text. Add another action and that will be to launch an application. The particular application I'm launching is the shortcuts. And in the advanced options, I need to put a command line option, command line argument, sorry, which is the name of the shortcut that I need to launch. Now, you don't need to remember how to do all these steps. There are worksheets that I've got links for at the end, which will show you this process. Let's do something a bit more relevant. And now when I click on that, well, I'll create some text first.
I want lunch.
And I'll click on create note. And it's going to create a note based on what I've done. Now, these buttons that say allow, once you've clicked always allow, then you don't have to select them again. So if I just do one more example, I'll tell you about my favorite animal.
I like sheep.
Go back to the dashboard, then click on my Create Note, which launches the shortcut, creates a brand new note of I like sheep, and then after our wait command, it will then take me back to TD Snap. I'm going to give you another example of how you might want to use your shortcuts. We can create a shortcut to run Shazam. So it's going to launch a shortcut, run Shazam,
When you were young by the Killers.
and copy that text to the clipboard that I can
When you're
paste
young by
on
the
my-
Killers.
But like I say, those shortcuts are really, really powerful. I'm not an expert in them, but if you think of something you might want to do on an iPad to make something easier for your AAC user, I'm pretty sure the shortcut will enable you to do it. And like I say, you don't need to know exactly how to do that. You can follow the instructions available on that link that will be available in the slides when I send them out to you. Hopefully the link works. So it's a nice document about how to create shortcuts. The final thing in TD Snap to mention is that we've now added a function which launches Sensory IFX from a button. That was always there for Windows, but now it's available for iPad OS. And as I mentioned, we're going to talk about that later, so I shall save that. Okay, the next section is what's new with voices. So we've got loads of new voices that we've added to TD Talk. The Acapela voices listed there have also been added to TD Snap. So within the English voices, we've added 6 new UK English voices, but lots of other languages covered. And TD Talk also has access to Microsoft Neural Voices, which give us great international cover for languages. You'll see that 12 new English voices have been added, but the one I want to draw attention to is Jenny, which is a fantastic multilingual voice. One of the issues people have had before when they may be speaking with 2 different languages and code switching is that the synthesizers sound completely different. So changing from English to French and the underlying voice can sound very different. With Jenny, I think she's available in 50 different languages, but it's the same underlying sounding person. So I'm just going to play a sample. I'm not going to play you all 50 voices. It's a bit raspy, but that's my laptop, not Jenny's fault.
This is a sample of how Jenny sounds. This is a sample of how Jenny sounds.
Australian, US English,
This is a sample of how Jenny sounds.
and then French.
Ceci est un exemple de la façon dont Jenny sonne. Ceci est un exemple de la façon dont Jenny sonne. Este es un ejemplo de cómo suena Jenny. Este es un ejemplo de cómo suena Jenny. Dit is een voorbeeld van hoe Jenny klinkt. Detta är ett exempel på hur Jenny låter. Detta är ett exempel på hur
Stop there, it goes on a bit.
就是Jenny听起来
So perfect for AAC users who speak more than one language, and then it's not jarring when you do code switch for yourself or for the person you're speaking to. What have we done there? We've also got new children's voices that are available from Acapela in TD Snap and TD Talk. So I'm sure you're familiar with the voices that have been in TD Snap for years.
This is Harry, the high-quality child voice from Acapela.
This is Rosie, the high-quality child voice from Acapela.
And there was a time you'd go into a school and literally every child was either Harry or Rosie. In recent years, though, different voices have been...
This is Archie, the high-quality Scottish child voice from Acapela.
And Ailey.
This is Ailey, the high-quality Scottish child voice from Acapela.
And then you've got Amy and Alfie with Northern English vowel sounds.
This is Amy, the high-quality Northern English child voice from Acapela.
This is Alfie, the high-quality Northern English child voice from Acapela.
But the new voices that have just become available are the child to teen voices. So again, it's the same voice, but that, say for example, if you're Rosie and then you're 15, you probably don't want to sound quite so high pitched. So these voices will grow with the child. So we've got Amelia as a child.
This is Amelia, the high-quality child voice from Acapela.
And then as a teen.
This is Amelia Teen, the high-quality teenage voice from Acapela.
I won't do them all, but you'll get the idea.
This is Caleb, the high-quality children voice from Acapela.
This is Caleb Teen, the high-quality teenage voice from Acapela.
Okay, I'm going to mention my own voice. I know we did a session about this, I think back in November, but I've been really impressed by the improvements to my own voice 5 because I wasn't necessarily too happy with my own voice 4. My own voice preservation available in 25 languages. You record 50 short phrases, and you also get the option of creating up to 300 custom phrases. And what that means is if you say things like "I love you" or you call your dog or something like that, you'd use a certain intonation and tone in that and melody in your voice, and that would be reflected in your communication output from your device when you use that particular phrase. You can also create the Acapella My Own Voice through the recordings you might have used when you created your Apple personal voice. If you've lost your speech but you do have access to existing legacy recordings, then Acapella can create a voice for you from those. And also, if you've made recordings at mymessagebanking.com, a voice can be generated from that. Lots of languages available, and you'll see where there's a little asterisk as well. Then that voice is also available with a children's script. I won't go on to that one. I think the only thing that's worth pointing out about your voice here is that, well, not the only thing, but just in the time, is it's really important to say that these voices are offline. They're non-cloud-based solutions. So you've always got access to your voice wherever you are. You will always sound like you, and you don't need to be connected to the internet. The really nice thing about the Acapella My Own Voice route is that you have such a long time to actually decide whether it's right for you. So all of the stages shown here, opening an account, record your voice, creating your voice, keep your voice in the database and test it online. They're all free of charge and before you even commit to buying a voice or getting maybe the MNDA to fund that voice for you. So my recommendation to people is go through the process, and it's the same for a lot of the other voice systems out there. Go through the process of creating your voice. It will be stored on the database till whenever you need it, or if you decide not to use it because you get a different, better voice from an alternative provider. But it's better to go through that process of creating the voice and choosing what's best for you. You also get 3 months to test the voice on your device or in your AAC software if you do want a bit longer to see whether it's right for you. A lot of you are going to be professionals here. It's worth noting that Acapella will give you free full licenses of My Own Voice, so you can create your own voice for testing and demonstration purposes. So just reach out to Acapella for that. Want to talk about what's new with the version 5 over version 4. So it's faster to create your voice. So there's a new script with just 50 phrases on there, and they're shorter and simpler phrases. Should take about 10 minutes to create your voice. Much better quality and stronger in terms of that offline usage, data privacy, and there are also steps around legacy and what to do if people unfortunately have passed away and accessing voices afterwards and giving permissions. So a couple of samples. So this is the original recording of the person creating their voice. Oh, with my own.
They followed me to the bathroom.
And then this is the version 4 voice created.
If not for stir fry, the tomato can be dipped into cornmeal and fried in oil. The classic southern use of unripe tomatoes.
Which I think it's a good voice, but a little bit of a wobble or a shake in it.
If not for stir fry, the tomato can be dipped into cornmeal and fried in oil, the classic southern use of unripe tomatoes.
And that's the version 5, which you can hear is much better quality. So this is a recording done by somebody who was already starting to lose their voice.
They followed me to the bathroom.
And you'll see that that's reflected.
If not for stir fry, the tomato can be dipped into cornmeal and fried in oil. The classics some use of white tomatoes.
So that was reflected in the voice that was created. But in version 5, Acapela now also offer a free voice cleaning service. So you just need to inform them when you're creating their voice, and they can just do a little bit of extra work to turn the previous voice into something like this. Can I get to the button?
If not for stir fry, the tomato can be dipped into cornmeal and fried in oil, the classic southern use of unripe tomatoes.
Excellent. So you can see a huge improvement there. I just wanted to share my personal experience. So one of the things that we used to have is there was only UK English available, and I say words like grass and bath and things like that rather than grass and bath. And my own voice originally sounded...
He took a fast bus to go home and have a bath after slipping on the grass. My own voice for UK English.
So we did convince Acapela to...
He took a fast bus to go home and have a bath after slipping on the grass. My own voice 5 UK English.
Oh, sorry, I went to 5. Sorry, I wanted to show you the northern version, sorry.
He took a fast bus to go home and have a bath after slipping on the grass.
So,
my own voice for Northern English.
So they were able to sort out the northern vowel sounds, but there's still that crackly nature to the voice. My own voice 5, I'm much, much happier with.
He took a fast bus to go home and have a bath after slipping on the grass. My own voice 5 Northern English.
Okay, so that's some of the improvements from to do with voices and a cappella. We've got a small section now on what's new in Communicator 5. So this is that we've added a new YouTube beta page set that's available for you to put on your homepage, and it's based around TD Browse, the eye gaze optimized internet browser, but it's got the nice big friendly buttons of Communicator 5, so it's that halfway house. So let's have a little look at that. So you'll see for round the side, you've got nice big buttons, switching modes like scrolling and clicking. And rather than it being a toggle button, you have 2 different buttons to switch between scrolling and clicking. When you look at a particular link, you get those colored callouts that you're used to from TD Browse, which means that you don't have to do any zooming into targets that are close to each other, because the callouts are separated by the colored lines. So you'll see here I'm choosing between these links. If I wanted to click on that one, it would be blue. If I wanted to click on the creator, it would be pink. And when you launch a video, it's going to give you media control buttons as well as standard. So just a little example of that in operation. So I'm going to call up the keyboard and I'm going to search for my favorite funny cat videos. Instantly it's in scroll mode. So if I just look towards the bottom of the screen or towards the top of the screen, it will start scrolling. When I find something I want to click on, though, I look at the left mouse button there and then choose to click on it.
As many of you know, adult cats do not meow at each other. Only kittens do that.
So if you do want to explore that YouTube beta page in Communicator 5, this is how you add it. You do get to the quick menu with Control M or a long hold or a right click, and you choose Edit Homepage. And then you choose Add Page Sets. Go into the category of Text Communication. And from there, go to Add-on Products and choose the YouTube beta. And then choose Add to Homepage. And then that will be available for you to test. Now we've got a small addition, but really important addition to TD Talk, TD Browse, and TD Phone. So TD Talk is our text-based communication system exclusive to the iSeries or on free of charge, available on an iPad. And then TD Browse is our internet browser exclusive to the iSeries, and TD Phone is our phone system exclusive to the iSeries. And what we've done is we've added alternative keyboard layouts. So previously you only had an option of QWERTY, but now we've got the option of QWERTY, ABC, and large keys or alphabetic. You change the layout either by going to the off-screen menu and then going to the keyboard area and then in settings, or on any keyboard you'll see this kind of globe symbol, and that's the language switcher, and you can change the keyboard there. Here's a couple of screens of what it looks like in TD Talk. So that's the QWERTY, that's the ABC, and then this is the two-hit keyboard. This is TD Browse, again QWERTY, ABC, and then the two-hit keyboard. And then this is TD Phone, QWERTY, ABC, and the two-hit keyboard. Got a little video of that in operation. So here I am typing on my standard QWERTY keyboard in TD Talk. I go to the globe symbol, and this time I'm going to the pen in the bottom right. Go to English. Most of you won't have as many languages there. It's just because it's my machine and I download all the languages. But we can change to ABC. It's really hard typing in ABC when you're used to QWERTY.
Hello.
And again, we can go to the globe symbol there. Then the pencil. Go to English and change my keyboard to two-step. Okay, you get the idea of that. Okay, we're on the home straight now. So we're just going to talk about what's new with the TD Pilot. So one of the things we're really pleased to share with you is that we've improved the calibration routines to make them more in line with what you can do on the PCI and also the I series in changing things like the stimuli and what have you. All the existing calibration features you used to know, plus now you've got the ability to either change the target color, or you can customize the target by changing it to an image. You can change how fast the target moves around the screen, and you can change the target size. So we'll have a little look at how it was before. You'll see you just had the little green dots, and it was one of the things that maybe I'd go and see a child in a school whose attention wasn't so good or needed something to really engage them before they engage with the calibration, and the sort of simple green dots weren't cutting it for them. So now you've got the ability to calibrate, go into the settings, sorry, and then choose maybe a different color target, or we can go to image target, and I really like Cocomelon, so I'm going to choose the Cocomelon melon, and I'm going to set it, it's on slow, but I'm going to set it to be a large target, and now when I calibrate, you'll see I've just got a slightly more engaging picture. Or engaged, they get a better calibration result. We'll see. It's really great that we've now got that option to change the calibration method. It's going to be more fun, more engaging for certain users, better able to capture individuals' attention, and also meet any visual needs. But leading on from that, we're really pleased to say that Sensory IFX, which is the eye gaze skills software that we've used for many years on our Windows-based systems, such as the I series, This is now available on the TD Pilot. So it's something that if you're starting with, if it's somebody who's a real early communicator or somebody who is maybe at the cause and effect level and experiencing eye gaze for the first time, it's great to have a skill building software option available on the TD Pilot. There is a full video from Lee Blemmings at Sensory Guru, which we'll go through that software in full, but I just want to show you a couple of screens from it here in a video. So this screen, if you've ever used Sensory IFX, should look very familiar. This is a simple blank screen engagement activity. If you've been using it for a while and you want to maybe create a heat map, press H on an IoT keyboard that you run with Bluetooth, and it will create a heat map. In tone matrix, you might want to take a picture, so P for picture or P for photo, and it will save an image of what you've done there. If you had the heat map on, it would take a picture of that as well. And we can do some bubble wraps, some splash. And we might want to record a little video, so it's R for record, and then they'll all be stored in your media folder in IFX that you can export. So we're really, really pleased that IFX has come to the TD Pilot, because it really opens up that the device to a whole range of new people that perhaps would have only had the option of a Windows-based solution previously. So following on from that, I'm just going to come back to the fact that you can now launch Sensory IFX 2 from TD Snap on your TD Pilot with a launch program shortcut that we've added. Launch program. So just got a little demonstration of that in action. And you'll see it goes straight to the software there. Okay, that's everything from me. It was a slightly longer session than normal. Do you have any questions? I'm going to stop the recording now, but thanks so much for coming along and your attention today. Just stop the recording.